the loop or the path? In my 2 decades of experience working with businesses, I find when it comes to their marketing, advertising, and promotional material that they're either on what I call the loop or the path. So let's take a look at these two options to understand them a little bit better. First, we're going to look at the loop. The loop is chosen by most businesses because it's easy, it's cost effective, it has a minimal intrusion on their daily operations. However, the loop also results in lost resources, minimal understanding of their target demographic, and a much higher failure rate. The first step in the loop is often an item is realized by an established business, or a new business starts to create a list of things that they need to have produced in order to have a business. So this list is often arbitrary. For the established business, they decide they want to have a Facebook page. For the startup business, they go, we need a logo, we need truck magnets, we need a letterhead, and we need a Facebook page and a website. So it's not necessarily written down. Sometimes it's just based on intuition, gut instinct, or the flavor of the day. Then once that's understood, then solutions are sought after. So for example, for the website, they may look for a website builder program, something with very low, upfront cost, very minimal monthly cost, something they can self-manage. For a logo, maybe downloading clip art from a website, maybe using somebody's relative within the company who does a little bit of artwork to build a logo. I find that when it comes to the loop, cost is king. Businesses, they have a very myopic view of what are going to be the long-term results of making those decisions. What they look at is, I've got my Facebook page, and they don't really think beyond that. So that leads to the next step. The next step is initial satisfaction. I've got it done. I'm happy. I'm ready to move on. But then this gradual realization that things aren't working very well in this piecemeal system. As logos are stitched together from one resource to websites stitched together in another resource, they start to find out that something ain't right. They're not meeting the goals that they wanted to meet. And so then they begin to talk to other people. They begin to Google and research. They begin to start making decisions, which ultimately leads to recreating the content. That's where we get the loop, because things are remade. So the website builder program would be dumped. Then they go hire a young freelancer. The young freelancer makes certain suggestions. Then they make those changes. Those don't work. Then they go maybe hire an agency. Then they find that doesn't work. And so it's just replicated. It's just this process of over and over and over again. And once that's done, then you look at what's happened at the very end here. The loop, if it had a slogan, it would be rinse, lather, and repeat, just like shampoo bottles, because that's what's going on here. They start off with the website. They get up here. Then they want to have their website recreated. They have their website recreated. They're happy. Once the business is happy, then they realize they're not happy. Then they start to try to figure it out, look for other resources, reinvent the wheel, and the loop is replicated again and again. Now, the reason the loop is so successful is the people that drive the tools that fit into the loop, the piecemeal system, is that they offer things that they know you want. And those things are the intangibles. You want it cheap. We call it cost effective, but let's face it, we want it cheap and easy. Don't bother me with it. I know it when I'll see it. That kind of mentality. And they offer that. And then, that feels really good. The next thing is the misconceptions. I think of SEO when I think of misconceptions. I think of one-time fees for search engine optimization, which is ludicrous for any SEO professional to even entertain that kind of thought. I think of a hosting company that I saw when I was, on YouTube the other day, and they were offering get your own website for 1 penny, And so you're going, wow, 1 penny for a website versus $2,000 up front for a website. It seems like a no-brainer if they're apples to apples. And so this loop is fed off misconceptions. Poor intelligence. The loop offers nothing educational in terms of understanding your target demographic. Your customers is what we're talking about here. If you look at the loop, We don't understand anything at the end of the day about our customers. Nothing extra, nothing more. All we've got is a piecemeal system of a bunch of items that we're hoping that they work. And then, of course, the last goal of anyone who services the loop is to keep you in the loop. And so the misconceptions are perpetuated over and over. You get caught in the loop, you keep spending more money in the loop over time, and you're hoping to get out of the loop, and you're thinking you're making progress, but in reality, you're just kind of running around in circles. Now, the alternative to the loop is the path. Now, the path has more initial pain points. It does have a better long-term ROMI, and it does have a higher success rate. Now, businesses will fail. That's just a fact of life. Some have a poor plan. Some businesses have poor management. Some businesses are poorly funded. These are all reasons for failure. But when it comes to marketing and advertising and promotion, the big reason for the failure is the loop. It's a piecemeal system stitched together as cost effectively, cheap as it can be done to give the stuff that's perceived to be needed in order to run a business. So let's take a look at the path. The path, first step, sets some goals. So what kind of goals would need to be met? Of course, the first goal is going to be I want to sell products. Now, traditionally, this is what was looked at. In today's world, it's a little bit different. You've got to engage your customer with a minimal commitment initially and then increase the commitment over time until you start to reach sales. Now, it doesn't mean that everyone's going to follow that sales cycle, but it does mean that a lot of them need that initial engagement with a minimal commitment before they start making the ultimate decision to use your services. Now, some will, some won't, but the ultimate idea is you've got to have those steps. So once those steps are understood, then you jump into the next step. The next step is to create a strategic plan that will meet those goals. A strategic plan encompasses things like understanding your customers, your demographic. Who are you trying to appeal to? What can you say about those people? If you were to take a piece of paper, can you write down exactly the kind of person that your business would serve? And if you're saying anyone, you don't understand your demographic yet. Your business will serve a particular niche of people. You just have to identify it. So no cop-outs. The next thing is your geography. Your geographic outreach is a huge benefit over national companies because a lot of people like to do business locally. They don't like to be a number. They like to be a face. They like to be a person. And so by understanding your geographic outreach, you can also use that as a strategic advantage. You have to have a marketing budget. That's part of the pain with this thing is that you've got to commit. And so by committing, you just can't, a lot of businesses today, what they'll do is fly by the seat of their pants on their marketing budget. And I've got a few dollars this month, but I don't have any money next month. And so their marketing budget fluctuates, and so their advertising fluctuates, and then everything fluctuates. And so you have to make some commitments. Also competitive analysis, which isn't listed on the slide here, but that's another interesting aspect, is you want to look at what your competitors are doing. Now, you don't want to go by what your competitors are doing because probably most of your competitors are stuck in the loop. So if you try to copy them, you're just going to follow them right back into the loop. So the idea is to look at them and understand what they're doing, harvest what's good, throw out the rest. Now, once that's done, intelligent material is made for your business. Now, if you look over here at the previous step, you're going to see something there at the very end called collateral. The reason collateral is here is imagine that we were working on a deck. And so we go around back to work on the deck, and we're in construction. So we take our hammer, our screwdriver, and we take a drill. Now, we've got a bunch of other tools in the back of the truck. We would have we got a Dremel kit, for example. Okay, but the Dremel's not going to come in handy with the deck. Well, just like the Dremels, fixing the deck is our goal. Whatever our goal is for the business, there's going to be certain tools that aren't going to be as effective as others. And so maybe your strategic plan is not going to involve LinkedIn. Maybe that's not part of the initial goal to keep it in budget. Maybe a certain style of website's more effective than another. Maybe we need to use an AdWords campaign. Those kind of things really come into play because we don't want to go out and break out the Dremel on the deck just because we can break the Dremel out on the deck because it's an ineffective tool. And that's one thing that often businesses miss is they think that they just have to be everywhere and do everything. Now, so with that being said, once you understand that, then you create the material intelligently. So take, for example, a logo made from the loop versus a logo made from the path. They both may be very attractive. Matter of fact, one from the loop may actually be more attractive to you than the one from the path. But remember, the goal is to appeal to your target customers. It's not to appeal to family members, to fellow coworkers, to any of that. It doesn't matter. Our goal is to appeal to our target demographic. And so even though the one from the loop may personally appeal to someone else, it doesn't necessarily appeal to the most important people, which is your target demographic. So you get this intelligent material, everything from font size to colors to the actual visual effects or whatever would all be impacted by that. Then once that's done, the campaign is launched. What I mean by the campaign is that's everything that's used to achieve the goals that have been set at the very beginning of the campaign. Then we want to track those results and then gain intelligence. And then once that is done, we jump over to make intelligent adjustments. Now, what I mean by intelligent adjustments is that, for example, let's take sales funneling. Sales funneling is a process where if you had a website and your goal was to get them from page A to page B to page C, but as we're watching what's actually happening, maybe they go from page A to page D and they bypass page B and page C, which has very important information and is really where we want them to go. So what we do is we can actually evaluate it, and maybe we take out B because B isn't necessitated, combine page B with page C, and then drive them to that new page C to see if that accommodates what's needed. Now, what's interesting about that is we're learning things about our target demographic by doing that. We're learning that they were not, what we were trying initially wasn't working as much as we wanted to, so we make those changes. So this massaging process is very important. Then once that's done, then the ROI is maximized for the campaign. The everything from the call to action, everything from what happens, what does the customer see for the first 6 seconds when they jump on the website. All these things are very, very important. And then this intelligent understanding can be applied across new opportunities, new innovations. What do I mean by that? Is that, like, for example, the way you would market to someone who on a search engine optimization campaign, the way you'd market to that exact same demographic on YouTube would be significantly different, because the way that they search and what they're looking for is a little bit different, because YouTube, for example, is based in the world of videos, and the other world is based upon a different set of guidelines. And so what you need to do is you basically need to go through and use what you understand, but then apply that and massage it into whatever new technology is there. To discover how we can help you find your up path, visit us on the web at integrisdesign.com or give us a phone call at 800-785-0403. Again, that's 800-785-0403. Thank you.